loves playing those utility junglers that can offer a lot of support for Hundor.
All right, well, we are into the first draft of the Unified Western Live Championship here in the City of Angels. Idris and Catherine going to be the first fans, and instantly, I'm the Doom grabs his Kestrel.
And we're already seeing the difference from update 2.6 to update 2.7. Lyra and Grace not being targeted immediately, both of them available into the second pick. You expect to see at least one of them come through, but it will be the Lance, making sure that that Lance does not go over to Mousesports. I think Lance is going to be a key this tournament.
Yeah, and I think they took the Lance to secure it. They banned the Lyra, and if Mousesports does not ban Grace, I think G2 may potentially take the Grace here because they want someone that can initiate and CC on the Doom CP Kestrel.
Not only that, but we know that G2 can flex the Lance. It can go into the jungle with Dark Potato, or it can stay in the captain role with Keanu. So they are a very flexible team. It's a very flexible pick for them. Black Feather going to be banned away here as well.
It's important to mention Dark Potato's Lance, right? Because in the final week, he was an absolute god on that weapon power Lance. And in fact, it looks like it is going his way. The Grace will be locked in for G2.
Yeah, and I expect it. I mean, it makes sense because Kestrel, you need someone that can engage. Grace, level max on her Benediction, has a range of 9. She'll get on that Kestrel immediately, and then Lance will follow up and CC her, and then they'll just lock her down. So that's the strategy G2 is picking to play against Mousesports here. So now Mousesports needs to play something like potentially a Finn that could protect Kestrel with the Polite Company, the CC, and the Quibble that can stop the Grace or the Lance. That could be an option here because they have to be very careful with how Kestrel can be targeted very easily here.
Yeah, they could also look for the Lyra, or never mind, that's already banned. Just kidding. Getting off to a good start. But yeah, the Finn, maybe they could go Arden, because with the Echo, you can have the double gauntlet to try and protect, but here comes the Sky.
Yeah, so this is a really interesting pick because we already mentioned earlier, weapon power Sky is now a thing, but both of these can be flexed to both roles, surely.
Yeah, especially with I'm the Doom. We know him for his CP Kestrel. We haven't really seen him play Sky because Sky just hasn't been in the meta very much, but this could very easily end up being a weapon Sky in the lane for FL.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be a weapon Sky because she can strafe with her inherent basic attack ability. She can easily move side to side, and then that Arden's going to be picked up. But I really like the composition for Sky. It is good at dodging Lance's skill shots, and Grace can't land the Holy Nova against a really mobile Sky.
That's going to be difficult, but the Celeste will be the final lock-in here for G2. We mentioned these CP laners have been coming on in, and that's what we're going to see coming out for Hundor.
Yeah, I really like the Celeste pick. I'm so happy to see Celeste just back in the meta in the lane. I feel like she can really snowball a game incredibly well. As long as Lance, if he lands an Impale onto Sky, Sky's just going to implode.
Yeah, they got to be careful because picking a Celeste into a weapon Sky, we did not see that work very well in the East Asia Championships. So they have to protect Hundor again. That would be the key to their strategy, is keep Celeste alive and potentially win the fight late game.
One thing that is important to mention though is Hundor, even when it wasn't meta, played Celeste in the lane back in the regular season. So he has experience. This is not something that he's new to, but it's enough from us. It's time to get into the first game of the Unified Western Live Championship. Let's pass it back up to Jaws and Action Jackson.
Thank you very much, Munchables. Here we go, AJ. The first game of the LA Live Champs. G2, they're first in Mouse. This is going to be a tough one.
This is going to be a really great game, though. I mean, Mousesports, you heard it on the analyst desk and from our interviews earlier on. This is a team that came out of the gate swinging when it actually came to the summer season, but they did fall off a little bit later on. G2, on the other hand, kind of bounced back a little later. You know, they had a really tough split one, managed to claw their way into a championship spot. But this is also a team that historically has performed incredibly well. I mean, this is the only team that's actually been able to take a series internationally from Europe. So that's a big accolade for them. And I'm sure it's something they'd like to better this time around. I'm sure they want to go all the way. Mousesports too. Should be an exciting game.
And that's what's so scary, isn't it? G2, they've taken games off North American teams, but now coming in as this underdog EU team in the bottom seed. Can they reclaim their throne like they once did, sitting up at number 1? Mouse, incredibly animalistic, mechanical gods.
They really are. I have been hearing from some of the people I've been talking to, players and analysts, all kinds of people, that G2 is actually a lot stronger than maybe you'd think based on their season finish. You know, a lot of people are sort of assuming that they might actually have the edge here against Mousesports. Now, it's really tough to tell, right? It could go either way.
Could do. And here we go, on to the fold. The first game, Mouse versus G2. Ready to see this one rock and roll. Atfel, he's on the sky. Versus that Celestin lane. It's exactly what Dowsy talked about.
It is indeed. We are seeing a little bit of action down there in the jungle. Both of these captains are ones that can try and make some plays early on here. But let's talk about this lane matchup, because I really think you've got to be paying attention to Hundor and Apfel. They are both very mechanically skilled players. Hundor is someone who really made a breakout performance when he joined the Vainglory 8 a while back. And now he's turned into one of the names to really watch.
Oh, hang on a second. First blood goes over to G2. Dark Potato's going to secure it. Atfel falls.
Very nice rotation there. This is something that I was working my way up to. If you're looking at the compositions from these two teams, one thing that G2 has in spades is crowd control. Both the Lance as well as that Grace are great at jumping onto the back line, trying to lock someone down. Now later into the game, once Apfel has Surrey Strike and the increased range on her lock-on, it can be a bit of a different situation, right? Maybe you're going to be able to escape there. Also, you're going to have teammates backing you up. But early in the game, it's very, very tough for a Skye to get away when you've taken forward barrage at level 1. Now, later though, this is what you've really got to be paying attention to with the comps, because there's going to be good crowd control from G2, but there is a lot of mobility and, of course, the Ardent to help the teammates get away.
I mean, either Dooms are going to be a slippery snake on the Kestrel, targeting the Elder Tree into the moment. Kiani wants to go in and get it. Who actually got that one? I think it was. A root does land onto Justman. He's in trouble. Holy Nova, this could be the second blood. It is. Dark Potato secures it for himself. I'm the Doom, maybe in a little bit of trouble. Keanu chasing him up. Only Nova's available in a couple of seconds' time. Dark Potato has that Impale. Slow comes through. Impale lands. There we go. Dark Potato, third kill. 2 minutes in. Atfel wants a little bit of revenge. Hundor running away. That forward barrage not quite connecting. But G2 off to a flying start. Uh-oh. Atfel, where you going? Surrey strikes away, dodges out. Dark Potato taking damage from the turret, but he's going to be all good.
I like the attempt there, though. G2, this is a team playing with some serious momentum right now, Jaws. Already trying to make some plays. Oh, gotta be careful.
Hundor fairly low, dodges that. Atfel moving forward. Hundor one shot away. There's the Surrey strike, gets his revenge, but that turret almost takes him out. Luckily, Justman's there to back him up, but Keanu couldn't do much in that situation.
Yeah, Hundor actually, it's unfortunate he's the one that got punished for the over-aggression of his captain and his jungler there, but sometimes it happens. They definitely needed to play a little bit more safely. I like the attempt, have the skill shots landed, maybe that goes a different way, but that's just how it is. Mousesports, not out of this one. They're finding their way back here in the early game. They are 1,000 gold in deficit, though. That is pretty substantial. There's a big wave that is possible for Apfel to take once he gets back to lane, though, so that might help equalize things. Talking a little bit more about the lane, though, we've got to mention the fact that, there might be another gank, actually.
Dark Potato doesn't miss the Impale. Atfel, very handy to take that Vanguard coming out from Justman. He's going to be kind of the catalyst to the savior of him at the moment, but G2 piling on the pressure. Hundor does miss the stun, but like you mentioned, there's so much lock-up CC. If one lands, everything is going to land.
It's really difficult to safely position and farm right now, because early in the game, especially on Weapon Skye, you have to be using your basic attacks to get the creeps. But if you're in basic attack range, you're absolutely within range of Grace's dash and Lance's Impale. It's a very scary situation. By forcing the wave in like this, they're doing two things, G2. They're actually creating a response.
Hang on a second. Justman caught up. There's the lockdown of CC. Atfel dashing forward, manages to pick up the kill on the back line. Keanu falls. Hundor's the next target. Atfel finds another kill. I'm the Doom securing it, and Dark Potato escapes the tail between his legs. Mouse now evening the gold up as well.
This is really interesting. It's kind of a crystallization of the differences between these two teams, I think. What G2 is doing is strategically very smart. They're forcing reactions out of Mousesports. They're saying you can't farm the jungle Doom, you're not going to hit your item spikes, so you got to help Skye in the lane. They're making Skye farm under turret, not something that Skye as a weapon power laner is very good at doing early on. But they do have to be careful.
Atfel's in trouble. What a place to back.
No!
Keanu says thank you very much. That's a kill for the support. And G2 inch ahead in gold once more.
Well, I was about to say mechanical gods for Mousesports, but after that back, might have to temper that a little bit.
Positional gods, maybe not so much. Mechanical, maybe. Dark Potato again looking for a small engage, but Mouse, no laner on their side. They're forced once again back to that turret.
All right, so G2, having picked up the kill on Apfel there, not only did they force him back, make him lose some experience, they're making him farm under the turret again. They're really doing a good job of shutting down any kind of push gank opportunities as well, although it's difficult for the Kestrel and the Ardent to gank in the same way that Lance and Grace can. Hundor, through all this, I mean, even after dying twice, is doing a pretty good job of farming. Apfel and him are very even right now, but Hundor is the one that's definitely setting the tempo with G2, so he's doing a nice job. I think we got to talk a little bit about Dark Potato here as well. Now, this composition really could have gone one of two ways, right? And they could have put Grace in the jungle with the Lance captain. They could have done it this way. But Dark Potato is so well known for his Lance. I love seeing him bring it out at the championships. This is something that he is one of the most well-known players for. And going for this tension bow early is going to give him so much damage.
And Dark Potato has the light. Oh my god, good route. Oh, that's a two-man stun as well into the core collapse. And that's going to be Iron the Doom just using those boosts to get away. No kill going through yet for G2. Perfect layering of CC, but Mouse somehow survived.
Hundor is not super close to level 6. If he was, oh, there he is. He was so close that it looked like he wasn't close. He might have been able to go for that snipe.
Well, takes a lot of damage. One shot, one kill. Strikes Hundor in the lane. They're going to chase this one up. Dark Potato taking a lot of damage as well. No more cooldowns for Mouse, and level 6 almost across the board for G2 at the moment.
Talking about snipes, that was a very nice one-shot, one kill coming out from I'm the Doom. Relieved a lot of the pressure that G2 has been placing in the lane, and actually, given that they're both quite healthy, they might go for something here.
Well, Keanu might be in a little bit of trouble. Dip, duck, dive, and dodge away. Takes a bit of forward barrage damage as well. Dark Potato is going to come towards the lane. Oh, here comes the Solar Storm. Is he going to clip him? Oh, I'm the Doom. Takes it for
He was watching that time. He was watching that time on his back. All right, so this game, very frenetic, Jaws, very back and forth, which is actually kind of interesting. I don't think you'd anticipate the amount of fighting that is happening coming out of Hundor especially. He really wants to farm, but with the jungle composition he has on his team, you kind of want to utilize that because it's just so good in the early game. It is giving some windows to Mousesports, so especially Apfel. Now that he's got his Surrey Strike and his first level of his ultimate, he's going to be able to navigate around these fights a lot better.
Hundor's going to be scaling up, like you mentioned earlier. He is 0-2, and that's what I tell my team all the time. By the way, I'm scaling. You know, I'm not very good in the early game. I'm a Celeste. I've got one item. Just let me scale up. Now he's got two. He's got the Eve of Harvest and Frostborn as well. That's going to help them just kite the team fights rather readily. Or G2, more than happy to just take it to Mouse at this moment in time. Level 6 almost approaching here across the board for G2. Dark Potato looking to go in. Can he get another stun onto Atfel? Does end up missing.
Yeah, that's a nice ability to get out of the field, but they got to be careful of the poke here. I'm the Doom has a Shatter Glass already, so the one shot is very dangerous, as are those Glimmer shots. But without the stun available from Apfel, that does lock down a lot of the crowd control. Makes it mostly about the active Camo Trap, which obviously you can play very easily around compared to a lot of things.
Oh my goodness. Atfel has half your HP gone from one Genesis from Hundor. Now I'm the Doom. Let's look at him. He's on this Kestrel. Kind of known for his Kestrel. It's quite terrifying now that he's got a Shatter Glass on board with a little bit of energy regeneration. He's going to be slinging Glimmer shots out left, right, and center. He's on point with those. It's going to be very hard for G2 to actually kite back. Atfel taking a lot of damage here. Death Buff does come down to segregate him from the rest of his team. Does get stunned up as well. This could be another kill, but Divine Intervention comes through. Corner as well from Mouse used, but Hundor the only one caught up. One shot, one kill is going to strike. It isn't going to strike true just yet. No kills go over to either side, but that's, again, another big cooldown for Mouse.
This is actually a really dicey situation for G2 because it had to back a member. I'm the Doom's still pretty healthy. The Glimmer Shots, look at how much they're chunking the turret here. You really don't want to let Mouse push you in. This is why, to a certain extent, G2 was playing so aggressively earlier on in the lane. They don't want this exact situation to happen. Now, why that happened is also interesting. I mean, Keanu Nakoa going for that aggressive move when he did seemed a little out of character. It was after the cooldown had reset on Death from Above. You saw how effectively that zoned him out. If he had actually been stunned quickly enough by Core Collapse, which landed just after Divine Intervention, that fight's totally different. I mean, Keanu's definitely going down. Also, Hundor, he got stunned in the Gauntlet, so he wasn't doing anything to Mouse during that fight. G2, there's a lot of small edges they could have taken in that fight. There's a lot of things that could have gone better, but at the same time, the big one for me is that Core Collapse early on could have been huge if he was able to actually stun up Apfel.
Now, Mouse, their drafts have been a little bit questionable over the course of last split. And right now, they've got a perfect composition just to chunk down this turret like you were mentioning. Those Glimmer shots really starting to hurt now, and that 4 barrage could have cut. Good at doing a lot of damage straight up as well. Speaking of damage straight up, Dark Potato may be looking for a little something here. With that tension bow, it does do a fair bit of damage. Didn't really need to chunk that one, Keanu, but he decided to anyway, just in case Hundor did step in the way.
Yeah, he just wants the higher missing health heal out of Falcon. That's what he's going for.
All right.
This is a really interesting game, just how much pressure we're seeing in the lane. at this stage, you know, a little bit later on here, it is very difficult, especially for Hunter, to do much for his team elsewhere. He kind of needs one more item. He's already got 3 big ones, but they're not the big damage ones. They're the big utility. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
He's still deal damage if you hit a supernova like that.
Yeah, well, speaking of poke, Honda's doing a good job of it. Nice little reflex block there. Supernova does come through, and that will be the fountain used for Mouse. Glab ends up missing, but that means the Gauntlet will go down. 2 members stunned up. Phil pushing forward, but Hundle can't quite find it. Deathenbruff does come down, stuns him up, but the 2 support players are in the front line. The dude's going to have to kite back, but falls together first with Keanu, and now Just Man, the only member left alive for Mouse. Hundle's going to chase him out. Can he pick up the kill? He's dip diving, dodging around that turret. Hundle quite finish him off, but that last auto attack will kill him. Ace for G2. Turret goes down as well.
Impressive plays there from G2. That fight started off and it looked scary for them. You know, Gauntlet came out. That was a big issue for them. 2 members got stunned up, but this composition is so good at turning a fight around and also so good at protecting a carry. You see Hunter's obviously the main focus of Apfel. He's on barely any health, but great Divine Intervention does so much work there. And also, I'm the Doom really struggled to navigate around Keanu Nakoa. Keanu actually held on to that Holy Nova for a very, very long time, and that made it so that if I'm the Doom wanted to go from all the way on one side of Keanu to all the way on the other side to be in range of actually hitting Hundor, it was going to be pretty difficult for him to make that move without any kind of blink. You know, Kestrel doesn't have that sort of utility. So G2 Esports, they played their comp really perfectly there. I do think that maybe initial positioning from Mousesports could have patched over some of those issues. Maybe, you know, if I'm the Doom had been a bit closer at the beginning of the fight, things look different there. But G2, very strong fight. They're actually sitting at a pretty substantial gold lead at this point.
Yeah, speaking of gold, 3 minutes and 30 seconds. G2 are 1,000 gold in the lead. You look at it now, you go, okay, 4,000, that's pretty big. You got that turret, that's an added layer of pressure, and Hundor is getting pretty scary. Let's not lie to ourselves. Look at the items he's got. He's even got a clockwork now. This guy is hitting like a truck, and it's all up to Dark Potato. And there's Grace to just protect him. That Divine Intervention is kind of helped with a form of an Echo, which I can imagine what he's going to build now.
Yeah, Echo's got to be coming up soon for Keanu Nakoa. This is a composition where you're really leveraging one big threat, and so Divine Intervention Echoed is actually more useful than it even usually is. So I'd like to see that for sure. Dark Potato, interestingly, has gone so far down the weapon path. I'm not sure he needed to commit this hard with the amount of damage that Hundor is going to be doing, but it has patched up that mid-game a lot for G2 when Hundor was still in the process of ramping up. It's actually an Atlas Pauldron as the next item for Keanu. This could be big if you manage to get it onto Apfel.
I'm the Doom stuck. There you go. There's the layering of CT, but Hunter's on the backline, receives a massive heal and is able to take out I'm the Doom. Just Man trying to kite away, has got Vanguard available in a couple of minutes, but G2 undeterred. Dark Potato chasing him out. His impales have just been on point.
They really have. That was about as good a situation as you could ask for I'm the Doom. He landed the trap. Didn't quite pan out, though, in the end. Hundor's healing onto him was just way too high.
Oh, the root! The double root. Solar Storm comes through as well. Just Man falls. The Dark Potato picks up the kill with the tension bow proc. G2 take the turret and take the lives of Mousesports. Now they're just sieging this base turret, AJ. This is looking all too bad. Oh, that was close. Use those flippers to get away. I'm the Doom trying to kite as much as he can, but that's going to be another turret. 2 for the price of 1 for G2 now. Look at that gold lead stretching now to 5,000.
That was dicey, you know, trying to hold turret there. I understand why you're doing it. You really don't want to give up that next turret because it pushes you all the way back to your choke point in terms of vision on the map. Really, really tough spot to be in. So it makes sense that they wanted to defend. The problem is, against Grace Lance, it's really, really dicey too. And even if you do, like, pick up the kill on Grace, let's say, it's very unlikely you're actually defending turret there. Hundor is just way too good at taking it down quickly at this stage. G2, they're convincingly in the lead. This is kind of echoing the sentiment that a lot of people had when I was talking to them, you know, backstage, getting ready for the event during rehearsal. You know, how's G2 going to show up at this event? A lot of people thought it was going to be really, really big for them.
You know, Tasty Bacon said it perfectly, didn't he? He thinks G2 is actually a really good match considering their placing, they're placing in seed. Dark Potato looking to go for something again. Does end up missing the impale this time. Does get stunned up by the active camo. Gauntlet comes down as well. Here goes the one-shot, one kill. Only striking Keanu. Does get stunned up, but Dark Potato willing to take the fight in the Gauntlet. Apfel jumping on the back line again. Keanu using those boosts to get in. Another kill goes over to G2, and now once more, Mouse are on the run. Brinking health though, but that's a lot of damage. Can he find the kills? He gets a double with one glimmer shot. Mouse have turned it around. I'm the Doom's Kestrel is coming online. This could very well be a triple kill and an ace, but he's going to give it over to Just Man. True carry player. I'm the Doom. They're going to start cracking now as well. What a turnaround.
Man, this game The narratives are playing out as if we wrote it ahead of time, isn't it? I'm the Doom on the Kestrel. We talked about him being such a player to watch. He's really pulling it out. Those were some great glimmer shots towards the end. There's no way that this Kraken is going the way of G2. They cannot get there in time unless Hundor throws out a pretty crazy ultimate. Is he going to go for it, though? That's the question. I don't think you do. I think you just hold it for a fight. Yeah, he's not going to go for it.
Yeah, Kraken has been unleashed 15 minutes in. Gold lead's still in G2's favor, but that Kraken is going to at least secure one turret, you can imagine. Now, how do they respond to this, AJ? They haven't even got that Echo online for Keanu. Maybe that's what they need in this matchup.
They needed that fight. I mean, if Dark Potato does get stunned up like he did at the beginning of the last fight, and you have to use Divine Intervention on him, that's obviously a huge tool not there for Hundor. And the thing is, you can't really anticipate Hundor not taking a lot of damage. Yeah, he's probably going to live if you have that, but if you don't, Apfel's going to be on him. And you just don't know how much that forward barrage is going to connect, how much damage he's going to be able to do in that situation. Nice damage back, though. Hundor, his poke's huge here.
Heliogenesis raining through, though, on the back of Mousesports. Whoa, that's a nice block there from above. Comes down, segregating the mares before them already. Hang on a second, Apfel's already dead. So time the Doom, and now Just Man's in the front line. Takes the Solar Storm. They lose a turret, but they get the ace. They need to decide what they want to do, and they're going to take that Kraken.
They're just playing it safe. It's the first game of the Unified Live Championships, ladies and gentlemen. I think you play it safe here. You definitely don't want to get knocked out on day number 1. Let's talk about that fight, though. First things first, a lot of poke taken. As you saw that one kicking off, Hundor was landing a lot of those Heliogeneses, doing some good work prior to things even beginning. And then, the big thing for me here is the kind of lineup that Mouse do. They take a lot of damage whilst grouped up, and actually a Surrey Strike into that, too. Really rough position to be in. I think that you needed to bail after that point. I'm the Doom wanted to keep things moving, and I personally think that was a very risky thing to do. Just leverage the fact that Kraken is threatening and back up. They can't chase you and deal with Kraken. You're going to get more maybe that way. As it stands, very back and forth game, though. Let's see if G2 can find a flank here.
Might just be able to. Genesis coming through. Apfel's going to dash back once again. Nice stun onto Keanu. Just Man has Gorner available. They're all in one tight knit corridor. One shot, one kill is going to come through. Divine Intervention healing up. I believe that was Dark Potato. Now Apfel alone. But it doesn't matter because he's doing a lot of damage.
Nice
That's going to
stun.
be a stun. There's the Gorner. It's not hitting anybody just yet. On the Doom still cutting back. Blinking now pass for G2. But Just Man's in the front line. Ends up going down. And now G2 pushing forward. Mouse on the wrong side of the base. Behind the Doom. He picks up a massive kill onto Just Man. Well, onto Hundor, sorry, not his own. He can't team kill. You can't team kill in Vainglory. Keanu trying to find him, though. He's just going to escape. He's going to get spotted out by a flare, but they can't seem to do it. Only 1-for-1 traded. G2 can't make anything more.
Man, these players are looking great, Jaws. There were some really strong mechanics in that last fight. At the same time, though, you gotta be really careful about chasing down a Kestrel late into a fight when she's been out of the fight for a while. Active Camo did so much work there. Hundor, if he'd synced up with his team, like maybe if they believed in him a little bit more towards the end of that fight, they could have jumped in with the core collapse in Helio and it might have panned out. But as it stands, you know, again, back and forth game, G2 needs to reset a little bit. They got to be careful with these fights. They got to play around the strengths that Mousesports has.
You just got to believe, AJ.
I believe
in the heart of the heroes.
He needs more help from his team. They need to believe in him too.
Well, they need to believe in him too. That is very true. But I mean, it's quite scary for G2 going up against Doom's Kestrel and Just Man's Arden, two heroes they're very well known for. Maybe looking for a little engage again near this mid-side. Kraken now on the board for both of these teams. This next Kraken, you can imagine actually G2, if they take this one, they might just be able to take the game. Only 2 turrets stand in their way of securing their first win.
I really like what Mousesports is doing here, though. They're pushing up the wave, they're forcing a response from G2, and in the meantime, able to get those active camo traps down, set up for any kind of fight that maybe G2 wants to pick here. Obviously, this late into the game, I'm the Doom. He's just perma-stealth. You know, he's not going to be seen unless a flare comes out. And if they keep this going, if they keep playing with G2 Esports, especially if they were to keep control, and it's funny that they didn't, because if they keep control of the jungle shop there, you really punish G2 not engaging, right? Because you're going to run out of flares eventually. But here we go, Kraken attempts. This is bold from G2, very bold.
They got a lot of damage though, that's what you got to say. And look on the map, Apfel only just coming back to the Kraken.
Oh, it's
about half HP, Dark Potato finds one. Oh dear, the chain CC again is just too much for them to handle. There's the Gauntlet stuns up too. Apfel needs to make something big here. Solar Storm is going to miss him completely, but Just Man's going to go down. Double kill for Ondor, making his 9th of the game. Could be a triple kill, it is! Finds another ace, Kraken on the board, but they don't care, AJ. I think they're just going to go for the win.
I think you're right, Jaws. G2 probably doesn't need this Kraken to close things out. If they go too far and they're not quite as quick as they expect, make sure you identify that early enough and back up, because certainly I'm the Doom and his team could take them down afterwards. But that fight, man, I'm the Doom getting caught out so hard. Really rough position to be in.
20 minutes in, here we go. G2 just chunking those turrets out. There's nothing left standing in their way. I'm the Doom comes up, but that crystal is gonna fall, and G2 will take the first win of the LA Unified.